Hello, this is Bill and Sonja, and welcome to our review of Servant Season 2, Episode 7, Marino. The Marino family tragedy raised more questions about Leanne, but I got to stop and tell the viewers a quick story, real quick, if you don't mind. Okay. Before the pizza episode even came out, you started really getting into sourdough bread making and all that, and then you started making pizza dough with it, and yeah. We ordered some really good flour from Italy, and when we're watching the episode, I hear the name Marino, and I'm like, gosh, it sounds so, sounds so familiar. And then I'm digging around in the pantry one day, and what hits me right in the face? Marino flour. That was it. Isn't that weird? Spooky. It's like Leanne's talking to us through the fourth wall.
Creepy.
Yeah, maybe it's dumb, but it was creepy to me.
Well, we are calling tonight's episode Flogging, Muttering, and Lobotomies. Oh my. Tony Bascup is the creator of Servant. He also produced another show that's similar in genre as Servant called Resurrection on ABC. And it's a story about the dead returning to life based off of a novel called The Return by Jason Mott. Sound familiar?
Sure does.
Yeah. This episode was written by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, Ishana Night Shyamalan, and a gentleman by the name of Nimrod Antel.
Nimrod, King Nimrod from the Bible. That's why he picked him.
It begins with Sean about to take Leanne away. Okay. And everyone is stunned. They're all standing there stunned watching the news report about shots being fired at the Marino estate. Uncle George, which is played by Morris MacGyver.
MacGyver.
What a name.
What a cool name. That's like if you got to be in the witness protection program, you were 14 and you got to pick your own name, right? Yeah, very cool.
Well, Uncle George is visibly angry at Leanne. He clenches his fist. You can see it. And then Dorothy keeps digging for more information from George, but he just mumbles incoherently and goes into this catatonic state.
Like Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It was weird. Yeah, Leanne's very upset about the situation. She kind of storms off, and she seems really, really guilty. So much, though, that she feels the need for extreme repentance. Thou shalt whoop thy own ass.
And that she did. I mean, wow.
Well, yeah, she beat herself with a fishing rod, opening long gashes on her back that looked so painful.
She hurt herself nearly as much as Dorothy hurt her.
Almost.
Julie and Dorothy try to break George out of his comatose state, but to no avail. Yeah. I have a new theory, though, about George. So George in the previous episode was talking about this infestation in the house that Leanne brought. So I'm thinking that perhaps somehow George is trying to eradicate Leanne's infestation with his powers that has drained him. He has taken a toll on him, and that's why he's gone into this catatonic state. Or he may be communicating with the cult during that time.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think that's what it is. I was also thinking, does Leanne have a connection to him in his incapacitated state? She can perform miracles, but she could hurt people as well. Or maybe he's just upset about the news and freaking out.
Yeah. Well, the cops show up, and Julian is ready to rat the cult out.
Yeah.
But Dorothy refuses, stating they need George to get Jericho back, and stalls the police while Julian and Sean hide George's body in the kitchen.
Like the Keystone Cops, these two guys just bumbling around.
Right.
Crazy.
And now Dorothy and Sean can add spying and lying to the local law enforcement to their long list of felonies.
Yeah.
What's really funny, though, about that scene, though, is that M. Night Shyamalan said he pitched it as a tribute to the Corpse classic 1989 film Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes me think a little differently when I hear that. Yeah. Because I was really annoyed at them, for bumbling so much, but now it's like that makes sense.
It's a good mixture of it's dark comedy.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, because in another interview, he said there were common threads with Servant and the movie Split.
Oh,
Two
okay.
totally different movies. Specifically, The Office, where Betty Buckley's character worked at.
Yeah, I've watched Split several times since this, and I can't find a damn thing that matched up in my mind, but it's got to be there, right?
Yeah, well, I saw, you can see comparable shots, like overhead camera shots of the stair scenes. The way Dorothy peeks out in this episode is very similar to a scene in Split. The breaking news footage on TV.
Yeah, that was...
And then the street that Betty Buckley is walking down, it reminded me of the Spruce Street.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that the Turners live on.
Okay.
So,
well, also, Dorothy is disassociating with, her actions that caused Jericho's death. So, just like the main character in Split, Kevin is disassociating.
Well, we see Officer Reyes again, played by Victoria Cartagena. Okay.
Yeah.
And she wants to investigate a possible link between Dorothy and Leanne because the nanny is one of the potential clues into solving the Marino family shooting.
Yeah, and she knows they have something to do with them. So, yeah. Well, I think she's a very understanding cop.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe she's got something in her past that's similar, and that's why she's so empathetic to Dorothy, and to Sean even. Like, she's a Philly cop too. Philly's supposed to be a tough place. You think Philly, New York, Chicago, LA, these are, places where you think the cops would be pretty hard and not so empathetic. She's more like a social worker, I think.
Almost.
Right?
Almost. She even offers her, Dorothy, someone to talk to, a friend.
An honest friend.
And Dorothy needs it. Well,
yeah.
But Dorothy gets annoyed with her and says the last time she was there, she called her mental.
A mental patient.
Yeah, right.
Treating me like a mental patient.
Yeah. And then she distracts her from Sean and Julian, saying she has a headache. This scene, to me, inferred lobotomy because she goes
she does
like
do
this.
That. Right.
So
my feelings wouldn't be hurt if she got it. But eventually, Sean and the officer talk, and Officer Reyes says the cult is not involved. This is a coincidence. And, Mr. Marino's mental facilities were deteriorating, and that's why this happened. That's why he committed the crime.
She even implied that Dorothy may do the same thing.
She did. Yeah, I can see that.
Did Leanne make her dizzy or lightheaded, do you think?
I think so, yeah, because at one point, Officer Reyes up in the attic, she grabs one of those crosses and takes it, but she starts to, in the middle sentence, she looks sick. She holds her stomach and says she's dizzy. And I think that was Leanne giving her the psychic whammy and telling her to get the hell up out of the crib.
Those garland crosses have to mean something.
Yeah.
Leanne definitely wanted her out of there stat.
Yeah.
So Leanne sees that Sergio Marino, who is the youngest, the 10-year-old, the youngest child of the Marino family, is murdered. She's visibly upset about it.
Yeah. And then, one thing, she opened up this little note. At first, I thought it says Sergio Gamez. And I was like, why is his name different? Why is it not Marino? But then I realized that's his gamer tag. He's like a Twitch or, streamer, a gamer, and all that. So I looked at it again, and it said it's just stylized, Sergio Games. That's probably the name of his channel. So I just thought that kid was really cool.
I could relate to him because he said he had 9 followers.
Yeah, we got 106. So, the best 106 out there.
Right.
Yes. we get you, buddy.
Yes. Well, the episode kind of, it ends with a box that arrives addressed to George with a Betamax tape.
Which is why I think you were right about he was communicating in that state. Because why would they just show up with a box and then all of a sudden he's awake?
I don't know why, but I thought that M. Night Shyamalan was the one that dropped the tape off.
I think it was too. Like him. It was his hair. It was the hair. Yeah. I got that impression.
He normally does a cameo, but usually you can really see him though.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That was funny.
But I love the dialogue in this scene where Uncle George asks, "Where's the Betamax player?" Julia says, wrong decade.
Hands down, the funniest line in this show this week.
Yeah. Georgia picks up a knife, which wasn't funny, from the box, and he seems prepared to do some kind of act with it, maybe an attack on Leanne or on himself or on the Turners.
Yeah, I think it's Leanne, and I think it's like a ritual kit. You know, it looked to me to be like maybe some anointing oil, holy water, a rock, which symbolizes a bunch of stuff in the Bible, and then a dagger, a ceremonial dagger, is used for either sacrifices or drawing blood. So, and he did say that she, inferring Leanne, has to watch that tape. So I think
go watch it right now because Leanne's angry. She was break a stick in the attic.
That's the stick she beat herself with.
Right.
Almost like no more.
Yeah.
I'm defiant now.
M. Night Shyamalan, in a behind the scenes, said he designed the attic of the set in that house, and he said that it was a symbolic representation of Leanne being up there to show that it's the highest point in the house, and that now Leanne is kind of like the head of the house.
She's manipulating everything.
Yeah, everything beneath her.
Yeah, for sure.
So
for sure. Yeah, and she ripped down those little crosses that she made and was stomping on them. Like they're little people. So gosh, that makes me wonder, like, what do they represent? Dorothy also caught a note that was in that box I don't think George saw that said, reunite them Christmas Eve. Obviously, she thinks, yes, I've called the cult's bluff, and they want to reunite me and Jericho. I got a little theory about this, though. I don't think it was Jericho they were talking about. I think they want George to reunite Leanne and her mama.
Okay.
And we're going to get some payoff on that mannequin that just keeps staring.
Thank you. Well, what do you think we learned new? Anything new we learned from this episode?
Technically, we did. Leanne said that someone assigns them the task. And it was confirmation that she was never assigned to them. She basically said, I defied their orders. I defied his orders by coming here. So that debunks one of my strong theories I had that earlier in the season, that the cult sent Leanne to try to recruit the Turners. So that's blown out of the water.
Well, we learned that George's shit does stink.
It sure does.
They were like holding their nose, and I don't know if it was his breath or
did he do to himself when he was in that? Because he's in their faces a lot and they don't react. His breath's got to stink, but still, it's got to be due to the way they acted. Got to be. So let me ask you though, how were your feelings during the episode and then afterwards?
During the episode, I was totally stressed out, y'all.
Yeah.
Seriously, I was on the edge of my seat. I was confused. And then afterwards, I was a little disappointed that more questions weren't answered, which is servant, right?
Right.
So here's my question to you and to viewers, all 106 of you. Who's your favorite character in this episode?
In this episode, it's got to be that kid. I like the kid, Sergio. Serge.
Okay.
Yeah, he was just very charismatic. He's played by an actor
cute.
called Hudson Berry.
I think so.
Cool name, Hudson.
So.
Yeah.
Well,
what about you?
I'm about to shock all 106 of you.
Oh.
Because you know how true. You know how I feel about Dorothy. I can't stand her.
Right.
But I'm going to have to say Dorothy because Lauren Ambrose is such a fantastic actress.
Yeah.
So as much as I hate Dorothy, any actress that can evoke those type of emotions is an actress or a person who's doing a great job.
Yeah. So I
kudos.
I still hate Joaquin Phoenix for his role as Commodus and Gladiator. But one thing I noticed, though, about Dorothy that made me dislike her even more this episode. Is when she called Elliot at the station, at her work to get the scoop on that Marino story, she had a kind of a sick smile on her face when she was recalling it. and about how the kid was missing. It was almost like giving her hope, and she was happy about it. But that really bothered me. You notice that?
Selfish. I did. I saw she did perk up. Well, do you have any new theories now?
Yeah, kind of.
Other than the ones we mentioned.
Yeah. Well, we had talked about one where I was trying to put together the Marinos and, you know, the sleeping husband, which I was thinking maybe he's not asleep. The wife's got cancer. I'm like, oh, maybe the wife is paying the price, you know, and the price may be, the severity of the price may be associated with, you know, how hard the resurrection is. The kid was murdered. So, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, and maybe the husband is like Dorothy, right? The disillusional one, right? And the kid's Jericho, whatever, associated. But the timelines weren't really matching for me. So I was having a hard time. And then you came up with something that that really put it all together.
Well, I think that Leanne was sent there. She was told to go there to stop that murder from happening.
Right, before it happened.
Yeah, before it happened.
So
she was keeping the Mr. Marino or the dad at bay.
So they knew his mental state was bad. He was headed down that.
Right.
And she was keeping him.
And then the reporter even said, well, what if somebody was there? I wish somebody would have been there.
Wow, right. Why did she say that?
So
maybe she was like keeping him in that comatose state, keeping him calm and, you know.
Right.
And then when she left, she's gone 7 days. He nutted up. He freaked out, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Yeah. So what did you like the most about the episode?
Oh, I love the music score. Yeah. It's so creepy.
It is creepy. You know,
it's
like on edge.
It's eerie.
Right?
You know, overall, it's amazing. I like the similarities in dialogue from one episode to the next and how they parallel with each other, which I really think has some deeper meaning to it. So here are some examples of clips of clips on how they parallel. Yeah, right? how they parallel.
Okay.
Right, in this episode and from past episodes.
Okay.
Philly's finest, ladies and gentlemen.
They're the police, Dottie.
But what good have Philly's finest done for us this far?
Can I talk about some things I didn't like?
Sure.
So there was some things that bothered me. Like I didn't know if it was just immature writing or it was continuity errors or something. But first of all, why couldn't Officer Reyes really hear them when they're sitting at the table and George in the kitchen, he yells, you know, he did it pretty loud. They're only like 20, 25 feet away. And I know he's around the corner, but there's no doorway. And she kind of acts like she heard something, but it was like explained away by the wind or something. Come on. She had to hear that. And then later on, she walks by the bathroom where he's in there and Julian's holding him and he's freaking out, making noise. She had to have heard that, you know, but she didn't. And then another thing that really drove me nuts, Sean, when he was going to follow Leanne to the attic, why didn't he go through the door? It wasn't locked. You know, a few minutes later,
Mr. Reyes went in.
Yeah, Reyes went in. So it's like, why was he just standing there? Like, why didn't you just go up and talk to her? So that just, that bothered me. It just did.
I mean, at this point in the show, this thing should be getting easier to understand, and they're not.
It should be narrowing it down, and it's just getting harder.
I'm hoping that next week we get to see what the suicide note said.
Oh, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. But hey, guys, thanks for watching. Please enter your comments. We love having those discussions with you guys. And if you like, subscribe. And if you share, even better.
Thanks. Bye.